you guys so much for committing your time today. We're going to be talking specifically about our beauty businesses, so the back end of our beauty businesses. And today I want you guys, I know great you said you're multitasking, but maybe just throw a notebook on your close by you or anybody who is multitasking. And if you're sitting at a desk or a chair table, grab a notebook because I will actually have you guys do some work today. You didn't know, but you're going to be doing some work. So take a second just to get a notebook. So that way you will have an opportunity to write down a couple of things. You will have a homework assignment that I'm going to follow up with. So you want to be able to write down some of your ideas so that way you can take advantage of putting this class together and put it into action down the road. Okay, perfect. As we're going to talk a little bit about, I'll tell you a bit about my journey. I didn't do any paid ads or anything for this. So I think everybody who's on here are people that either know in person or know virtually or have worked with in the past. So thank you for coming. Some of you might know my story or parts of it, I should say, and some of you might not. So I'm going to share a little bit about my journey and really how it relates to why these processes, policies, and documents are important. And like I mentioned, we do have some hands-on activities and some homework for you guys to really kickstart some positive changes in your business. Plus, I'm going to be offering you guys a chance to look at our Business of Beauty program. Looking at your business in a new light and consider investing some more time across many other elements of your business, which are really designed to help you work smarter and ultimately grow. So are you guys ready to get started? I would like you to share your business name, where you're located, and the types of services, if you offer more than one service, in the group chat, because I think it's really interesting and great for us to connect together, as most of us are solopreneurs and we don't have really a good support system. Some maybe have a decent family and friends, but really when you get to know each other, it's really, really helpful. So getting to know some of you guys has been really beneficial to me, and I want you guys to have that same option to get to know each other. So please go ahead and share that information in the group chat while I'm moving on to the next slide. And of course, we will have an option to chat at the end. So feel free to either type your questions in there and I'll go through them at the end, or write them down, and we'll have a chance to, if you want to pop on screen and answer or ask me any questions at the end as well. Okay, and I'm just seeing where you guys are all coming in from as well. Vancouver, House of Dante, Rose Beauty Mississauga, Mobile Spray Tanning. Oh, she's just new, yay. Oh, it's Marlene, hey, how's it going, Marlene? You haven't officially started, but we need to chat after this. Spray tanning and sugaring services. Christy, I know you. Bridal beauty services, makeup lessons. Yes, Toronto, just outside of Toronto. Glow Sunless. That's great, coming all the way from Belgium. Natalie, Coco Glow from New Jersey. Okay, not too far. Amazing. So keep putting those in there, guys. I'm going to share a little bit about my story. So, okay, so it all started in really retail cosmetics. I was a makeup artist for MAC off and on for about 8 years, actually. And then I started dabbling into beauty education. I worked for a few different top Ontario beauty schools. I was a beauty educator, makeup instructor specifically, as well as a spray tan instructor for some of you. Most of you guys might know me through and or know of Kelly Callahan's spray tan class. I was a master spray tan trainer and speaker educator for spray tan class. So that's kind of my background, retail and beauty education. And of course, I did the beauty services and continue to do the beauty services as my own business and kind of as a side hustle early on in the beginning. And it all started from my basement. So I had a closet literally turned into a spray tanning booth and a small room in my basement that I did makeup in. And my husband and I moved. We upgraded to a bigger house, but it was still a condo house. And our neighbors actually complained that I was operating a business from my house. And so the corporation had written me a notice that I had to get my business out of the house within 3 months, or they were going to start fining us through our our payments that we make through like a corporation. So that's when I decided, okay, I guess I'm going to do something. I'm going to open a space. So in 2017, I opened a commercial space and I was let go. I wasn't working much at MAC by then, really just dabbling and freelancing for them. And the school that I was teaching, I actually let me go because they thought it was a conflict of interest. So I had to quickly figure out how the hell I was gonna pay for rent for this place. And I realized that these like occasional side hustle services that I was really doing at that time was not going to work. It wasn't going to sustain my business. So I started like digging into various like business courses, marketing courses. I started figuring out how to use my social media, learning about branding, time management, personal development. And I started to grow a team. I started contracting hairstylist, additional makeup artist. I started outsourcing things that I really sucked at and still suck at, like bookkeeping and admin work. And pre 2017, even though I was working at a school and working at Mac and freelancing, I specifically remember when my husband and I bought our first home that you have to give all of your paperwork to show how much money you earn. And I remember it was $27,000 and my goal was always $30,000. And I was embarrassed. I felt like even though I played a big role, you know, I have two kids, I played a big role within my household. I still felt like I just was so stuck and I honestly just like felt like a failure. And when I opened my space, I worked with a company called the BACD, which is the Business Advisory Center of Durham. So if you are in Durham, I highly recommend them. They have lots of free resources and training, and I actually got a grant through them as well. And I was doing a program called the Starter Plus program. And part of that was to do a financial forecast. And I'd never done anything like this before. And by the end of it, I had a goal of $150,000, which was like, it was like $100 billion. Like it made no sense. I was like, how the hell am I going to make that kind of money? That was just didn't, it was like, I couldn't even fathom that was like an option. But by the end of the first year, I believe it was 86 or $87,000 I made in my business. So I was like, what is that possible? I started figuring it out. And since then, years have passed. We've been able to hit multiple six figures every year, and we're continuing to grow. And we have a team of amazing 15 ladies that really make it all happen. So I want to share with you guys a little bit about what I've learned along this process, what it truly takes to have a profitable business. And we need to start treating our business and giving as much care to the back end of our business as we do to the excellent beauty services that we provide. So today we're going to niche down on just one very tiny but important topic, which is about policies, documents, and contracts. And I'm just reading, catching up on the chat. Bronze FX, you're in Burlington. Angie, Lauren, hey girl. Lauren, makeup. Rhonda, here in Ohio, spray tanning, UV tanning, lash lift tinting, and starting permanent jewelry. Ooh, I see the permanent jewelry really popping up. That's amazing. Okay, so I would like you guys to put in the chat, number one, if you don't have any documents, contracts, or policies in place as of yet. Number two, if you have some, but maybe you want to update, or you need to add some, or you think maybe after today you're going to add some. And three, you feel pretty good, but hopefully you're here just to gain some new insights. You guys can go ahead and do that. That would be perfect. For two, we have some. Marlene, I know Marlene, it's okay, girl, you're just starting. But you're going to get some after today. We're going to get some in place. Nothing as of yet. Angie some. Reed wants to gain some new insights. Nothing as of yet. Just starting. Lauren one. Okay, I'm going to move on. Okay, perfect. I'm watching the chat. So today we're going to be talking about three different types, and some of them kind of like overlap, and I try to do my best to kind of put them into three categories just so it's easier to digest. And I'd like to say that, like, just a disclaimer, this is not an exhaustive list. Like everybody's business is a little different, especially I see some people are coming in from different points in their business, and some of us have different services as well. So obviously I can't provide everything for all of you guys, but I'm trying to give you just like a framework that you can use to start looking at maybe something that you can implement into your business, okay? So number one, policies. These could be appointment and cancellation policies. I think this is a really, really important one, and I think anybody who's doing services should have this in place. Service pricing, yes, definitely service. And one thing I want to mention about the service pricing and why I included it into the policies and not just the documents is that our pricing might need to have some fine print, okay? So maybe there's different variations of the service that you provide that needs some explanation, and that really is considered a policy. So if somebody, for example, who does maybe spray tanning, for example, or any of your services really. Maybe one of your services, spray tanning, has some type of solution or some type of service that is a price point that includes something. And then another service like a contour spray tan or a rapid spray tan or a deluxe spray tan where you do 2 coats, I don't know, whatever it looks like for your business, it has something different included. So when you have pricing, it's important to have a policy and where do those lines overlap and where do they end? Because it can get a little gray. Adding Lindsay in. Safety and hygiene policies. And some of these can be bulked into one, or some of them could be separate, right? Employee code of conduct. Some of you did say on the intake form when you register that you have team members. I know Greet has a team member. Some of you do and some of you don't. So this may or may not apply to you. Photography and social media. I know all of you guys have social media because you wouldn't have been here if you didn't. Membership or loyalty programs, even fine print on gift certificates and the policies on that. Like, is there an expiration date? What does it include? Who's servicing them? Is there certain dates or timeframes? Special event or promotion policies as well, same thing. Perfect. So now we're going to move into documents and forms. So a document or form could be so many different things. What to expect, like a checklist, for example, for spray tan artist, makeup artist, even teeth whitening, any of the services, lash lifts, any services you guys do, it's important that we let the clients know what to expect prior to their appointment. This can also work as a marketing tool. Frequently asked questions. This is a really, really big one, and this is a big time saving hack for you guys. I know I didn't include this in here, but just put a thumbs up or a yes in the chat if you feel like you're answering the same questions over and over and over. I know I'm going to get a lot of yeses here. So having these things documented is going to save you so much time. Client care and instructions also really, really important when we're trying to create a great experience for our clients, because as artists, as service providers, we can only do so much. Some of the experience is in the hands of our clients, unfortunately. So if we don't equip them, they're not going to know what to do, and we might not be able to do our job properly. Marketing material, Angie's like, yes. Marketing material, again, these could be in the form of documents, right? Service pricing menu, similar to what I talked about before. Internal training manuals, surveys, aftercare surveys, internal surveys, intake forms, things like that. And finally, contracts and waivers. So these kind of, again, can sort of overlap just depending on what they are. A waiver is more like liability waiver, for example, if someone is coming to have a service and we want to eliminate ourselves from being at fault for anything that might happen as a result of the service that we provide, okay? Where a contract is something that's a little bit more binding in terms of a full agreement, if that makes sense. So a contract might be like a bridal beauty agreement between yourself or your company and the bride. Whereas a waiver might be, it is between the two of you, but it's more based on liability for service, where a contract is usually a lot more in depth about specifics of their agreement with you. Employee contract agreement, independent contractors, depending if you have employees or independent contractors. I work exclusively with independent contractors, so I don't have a lot more information about employees, but if you have a business advisory in your area, I would highly recommend that you contact them for more information about that. So it's not my area of expertise, but I know that they are important to have in place. Rental agreements for booth, chair rentals, or if you have a salon space, you obviously going to need to have a lease in place, and that is a form of a contract. Group service agreements, which may include schedules, client intake and consultation forms, membership agreements, things of that sort. Okay, so now I'm going to get to, I would like you guys to start thinking about maybe some of the pain points that you've experienced in your business. So I'm going to share just a few, which is a lot of things that I have personally experienced in my business and why I've been able to put one of these frameworks in place to not feel the pain so much. Clients missing appointments altogether, clients not paying for services on time, my team members not meeting my expectations, clients not coming to their appointments prepped properly, clients calling, texting at inappropriate hours or days, answering the same questions over and over and over, unrealistic expectations of timeframes, like a bride saying that she has 2 hours to get 7 people ready, getting ghosted, clients asking you to remove images from of them from their social media, mobile booking locations not being conducive for service completion, clients telling you what your policies should or shouldn't be, clients rescheduling or canceling last minute, clients being intoxicated, smoking, or vaping during services, not following through with their membership commitments, clients being super picky and asking to see multiple versions of a look, explaining your processes to clients over and over, team members not meeting expectations, clients adding services day of and then not wanting to pay the balance. Those are just like a few things that I have personally experienced in my business. And I've figured out how to avoid them moving forward, hopefully. That's the goal. So when I did the intake form for this registration, I found it very interesting that a lot of people filled out that they've never experienced any miscommunication or misunderstanding in your business. And I would like to challenge this. You can see this here. Like a lot of people said no. So I'm like, maybe it's the way that I typed it in that didn't really explain it properly, but I know I don't think I'm alone here. I know from group chats that I've been involved in, conversations that I've had with other beauty business owners, Facebook communities that I'm in, um, countless other business owners that are not just beauty related. We all struggle with different things in our business. So I would like to ask again if any of you have ever experienced something like this in the chat. Type number 4. Yes, Marlene, you're still too fresh, girl. But the goal is for people that are really new to learn from our mistakes and try to put something in place to ensure that our clients understand what our expectations are and equip them properly so that way we can avoid these things. That's the goal. That's why you guys are all here. Perfect. I'm seeing a lot of 4s. Okay, so I'm not alone. So I believe that we can create a better experience for ourselves and our customers and help to attract the right customers by having the right processes, documents, policies, and contracts in place. So this is part of the homework for you guys and part of the interactive portion of this session. I would like you guys to take a couple of minutes, and most of you, I saw a bunch of you are putting 4 in there, so you can probably think of something that's happened. So I'd like you guys to write down a couple of experiences that you have had, maybe especially that's happened more than once, because sometimes a one-off thing doesn't necessarily mean it's something that you need to change in your business. It might just be this lady was crazy and I know she's not a good fit and I'm not going to service her anymore, and that's okay. So we're not talking about those one-off, we're talking about repeat experiences. So something similar happening over and over. And then I'm going to open up an opportunity for a few of you to share what happened. And I'd just like to say that we're not here to, because we could totally just sit and complain about all the things that's happened in our business. And that's not our goal here. Our goal is to address the pain points and turn these losses into lessons. So if you guys could just take a couple minutes, write down just in your notebook, or even if you want to write in the chat, that's fine. Just a really Cole's Notes version, like how I did back here, kind of like just a very short version of what may have happened or has happened multiple times in your business. And it's not something that you have thought about in order to prevent it or figure out how to resolve it as of yet. So it's a pain point for you. So if you guys could take a few minutes to do that, it's 27 right now, so I'll give you like 2 minutes to do that. And then I'm going to ask you, anybody who's interested, to share that you think might be beneficial to other people. And then we're going to talk through that to figure out what we could put in place to prevent this from happening again. Okay, so I'm going to put on my timer and I'm going to be quiet for a couple minutes. Timer's done. Perfect. Okay, awesome. So I see Rhonda has, okay, so Rhonda, you do tanning, especially UV tanning and spray tanning, lash lip tinting, and permanent jewelry. Okay, perfect. So my first question, let's actually, Rhonda, if you're comfortable coming on camera, or you don't have to turn your camera on if you don't want, but I'll unmute you, ask to unmute. I'm going to ask you first. Okay, so her feedback is clients book, then cancel just before appointment. I want to implement a booking fee, but customer doesn't want to do that. How can I get them to understand this is necessary? Okay, so first of all, um, which service would you say people are typically canceling just before
Mainly the spray tanning.
the spray tanning? Okay. Have you ever considered requiring a deposit in order to confirm the service?
I have, but a lot of people are just like, no, thanks. I don't want to do that. So I'm trying to figure out a way to get them to understand, if they're serious about the appointment as I am, and to keep them in good faith, how do I get them to say, okay, I can do this, or, put the deposit down?
How do the clients book their services?
Mainly over the phone.
Okay. Have you ever considered implementing a booking system, like a software like uh, Fresha or Acuity or whatever, any of those? I can send you a list if you want.
Well, I have Square, so I've
Square.
been learning different things with Square, but yes, I have thought about doing it that way as well.
Yeah, I would 1,000%. Any other spray tan artists in here, give me a thumbs up if you use a booking system. I highly recommend a booking system. I use a platform called Acuity, but I know a lot of people use Square. I also was in your exact position a few years ago, maybe I can't remember how many years, 3, 4 years ago, I was using a booking system, but I wasn't requiring a deposit because I didn't find I had a lot of cancellations. And then I actually attended Slay the Spray a few years ago, which is a conference that was I think it was in California that year. And a lot of people said that they require a deposit. I was like, I don't need to. My clients never cancel on me. And I swear the universe was just like, playing a joke on me because right after that, I started getting so many people last minute canceling, wanting to reschedule. And I was afraid that if I required a deposit, people wouldn't come. I never literally had any person, not even one, complain that they had to do a deposit. I just implemented it. At first I required 25%, and then I realized that wasn't enough because some people were willing to walk away from the 25%, but I was still missing out on that appointment. And then I implemented 50. And now it's 50 across the books for every single service. You can't have any service without 50%. So I recommend that you just implement it. If you're not comfortable with 50, maybe try 30 or something like that. But it's just a requirement. And you can send them a nice message, like an email to your regulars, or if you have people that you super trust. I have a few people that I really trust. I use a code that overrides the deposit essentially. So if they like, I have a few people, they don't do it a lot, but a few people that want to pay me cash. So I'll just give them a code to override it and then they pay me cash when they come in. So there's definitely ways you can manipulate the system, like however you want to set it up to make it work for you. But I would say just require it. And then people are going to take you more seriously. Like, okay, especially if you're busy, like you can't be not like you have an appointment and you're turning down people, for example, or you have other clients to service. And then now you have this open space of time that you can't help anybody because this person decided not to show up, right? So I would say it's not a big investment of money to have the booking system. It is a little bit of an investment of time to learn how to use it and to implement it. But once it's there, and then also you don't have to take the phone calls anymore. They just have to book it online. You could book it for them, but then also people will be more likely to show up and not miss appointments also if you use a booking system because they're going to get automatic reminders when their appointment is, and you can have your cancellation and all of your policies built into that communication. So that way they know you're not screwing around. Like, Rhonda's not playing. Like, I got to show up or else she's giving my appointment away or she's charging my card. You know what I mean? And obviously, I know one of the questions I saw in the intake form was how do we then enforce these policies? Now, if you just require them to pay the deposit, my system allows them to do debit or credit. I also have a note in there indicating they can send an e-transfer, but mostly everybody just finds it convenient to use their card and then the card's just saved on file. So then they don't even have to bring a payment form when they come in because we can just auto charge their card. So it's super convenient. So I would say I highly recommend looking into a booking system, and that's just going to it's going to take all those awkward conversations away. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
I like the idea of the code override for the deposit.
Yeah.
That way they can go online, like you said, instead of me answering the calls all the time.
Exactly. I mean, there is something to be said about personal conversations. So I don't think you should take that away completely, because sometimes a call could be that conversion point for people, especially new people, but you could still then prompt them to book online, right? So
Okay.
usually after I take a call, I'm gonna say, okay, in order for me to get all the information for your appointment and to secure your session with us, I'm gonna send you a link to your phone. Is that okay with you? If they say yes, awesome. I'm gonna send it to you right now. And then if I say, if you have any issues booking it, feel free to give me a text or call me back and I can book it manually for you. And then through our system, we have the option to send them a payment link via text or email, and then they still have to make a payment, and then you could either cancel or confirm their appointment from then.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yes. Yes. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Good. Well, keep me posted. I'm excited to see what happens. And maybe just your regular clients, send them a notice and say, oh, like, we're updating our system, make it seem exciting. Like, now it's going to be so much easier for you to book your appointments online. So that way you don't have to wait for me to call you back, because you can do it, at your convenience. So here's the new link, save it for later. Plus we have it on our Instagram so you can easily access it, whatever. Like, make it like a win for them. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yes. Thank you.
Awesome. You're so welcome. Okay, let's see here. Oh, they're coming in, guys. They're coming in. And see, the way I see it, if they won't the value my time and give me a deposit to secure the time artist for them, then the clients, yeah, it's so true. Like, if they don't value our time, like, are they really the clients that we want to be serving? Danny says acuity. Yep. Greet says I have a booking system. Sometimes clients DM me or text me to reschedule, saying they can't figure out how to reschedule their booking, even though it's easy, or through mail. I say, okay, I'll reschedule it even in the busy periods. I forget to do so, ending up with a no-show. Yeah, I always try to train my clients, like, I redirect them to try to learn how to do it themselves. One thing that I do sometimes to explain certain pieces of technology to people, because I don't want to take the customer service away from them, but I also want to train them on how to use it. So I might do something simple like a screen record and just walk them through how to do it. Or I'll forward them the email that gives them the option to cancel or reschedule their appointment. So I try to re-equip them. Like, I'll give them one more chance to try to figure it out themselves. And then if they can't, then yeah, I will do it. So one thing that helps me remember is I will just say, make like a note in my phone. Or do you use like your Google Calendar? Do you use a Google Cal? I'm gonna unmute you. Unmute. Crete has a really beautiful salon, and if I'm ever there, I'm coming for a spray tan. It's not letting me unmute you.
Yes, I'm here, I
Oh,
think.
there we go. Okay, I want
Hello.
to show you something cool on your Google Calendar. So you could do this, like, you probably have your phone in your hand like 24/7, like I do. So if you go to your Google Calendar and then you click
Okay.
task, I don't know if you guys will be able to see or not. There's like a little plus sign on the bottom of your Google Calendar, and if you click task, you can actually add just a reminder that would stay in your calendar that day. So what I normally do, if I'm like busy in between things, I'll either write it like in my notebook on my desk and I'll look at
Mhm.
that at the end of the day, or I'll just put the task in my phone. So that way I'll just look at that. So that way I don't forget to do the thing. Because same thing, you'll run and do something else and then you're like, oh shit, I forgot to reschedule that. So, or if it's via email, I will snooze the email to come back to me when I know I have a moment to actually do it. So just like a couple hacks that might help you to remember, but ultimately we want to try to train our clients to do it themselves. Because sometimes things that are super easy for us, we're like, this is so easy. All you have to do is click this and push this. They cannot figure out, like, at all.
Yeah,
I
I know
can,
I have some elderly clients who really have problems with the online booking, even though it's so hands-on and really obvious how to do so. But it happens in busy moments. You pick up a phone, they say, "Ah, reschedule. Okay, I will do it," and then I'm busy with something else, and that's when the things happen, of course. When
yeah.
I'm, yeah,
So if you have like the computer in front of you or somewhere that you can just even like whatever works for you, like sticky notes, notebook, or something on your phone to remind you, just so that you at least get to doing it. Because yeah, that's when oh my God, two people show up at the same time. You're like, oh shit, or
yeah,
whatever, right? Or like you said, a no-show. You're like, wait, where's so-and-so? And then you're like about to text them and be like, hey, where are you? And then you realize it
yeah.
was my fault. Yeah. So I mean, that's just us like maybe try to, you guys are so busy, so maybe try to block some like white space time where you actually have no appointments booked, where you just sit and like look at all of the tasks that are like on your to-do list and try to block some time to just get those items done, right? Or if you have, maybe consider hiring a VA or something. A lot of times I'll just like voice note my VA and be like, hey, can you do this for me? And then she gets it done. So maybe you might be at the point where you hire like a virtual assistant or someone that just like takes care of those tasks that you really just don't have time for. Yeah, that might be something. Perfect. Okay, Rhonda. Angie says she uses Square and she's moving to Acuity. Yeah, I like Acuity. It is a little complicated, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Danny says she used Acuity. It freed up so much time of my life. Yes, so much less texting, calling back and forth. Yes. Do you have a contract? This is Christy. Do you have a contract that they sign for an event service when they pay a deposit? So the system that we use for events, we don't have a full-on contract, but so I think you are using Honeybooks, right, Christy? I'm gonna find your face. Where are you? Or did you use Dubsado? Oh, hold on, I can't hear you. Oh, why can't I hear you? It doesn't say you're muted.
I had headphones on.
Oh, yep, I couldn't hear you with that.
Let's try. Yeah, like for my Honeybucks, like I feel like my bridal, I have like a nice contract in place, like I sent a whole proposal. But for event servicing, I'm like, I've just been so used to them messaging me and being like, great, this time you can pay cash or e-transfer. But I'm finding like I'm getting kind of last minute cancellations, or like, can we change the day or whatever and stuff like that. So I'm wondering, like, do you actually have a contract for the event services, or is it more so just like when they send their deposit, like I could still send them the payment over Honeybooks, and then do you just send them kind of like a policies form, or do you have something they're actually signing?
So what we have through 17 Hats, when someone books any service with us, excluding, so spray tanning is separate, so we're talking makeup and hair service.
Yeah.
So say it's an event service, for example. In order to confirm service with us, there is a checkbox. So 17 Hats provides a quote, which has an area that you can put like a notes section in, essentially at the bottom.
Okay.
And then then they're required to sign that. So it's not a full-on contract, but it does have like the basic stuff, like the cancellation, rescheduling, the timing, like just very, very basic. Like it's just like basically a paragraph of information that they sign. And then when we confirm services with them, there is the full policy and waiver, like our regular event service policy, waiver, cancellation, all of that stuff that's attached. And then also when we confirm the service, we send an e-vite out. So a Google e-vite, you're familiar with that, how we do it. And then it also has a link to our waiver. So they've seen the waiver twice and they've signed on the basic agreement when they accept the booking before they even pay the deposit.
Okay.
So I would say just try to you don't necessarily have to have a full-on waiver. If you wanted to, you definitely could. I find it's a little bit too much work for a one-off service.
Yeah.
Right? But if you could just template something and have it included in that communication, and then you could stipulate somewhere by signing this, you agree that you have read our policies and that you whatever, agreed to move forward and whatever. Right.
Okay.
And then
You're sending that even before the invoice, like even before you're sending the invoice.
it's like linked into the invoice.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay,
I'm not sure how. So did you say Dubsado or Honeybooks?
Honeybooks. So it
Okay.
might almost be like I'm making a separate little proposal just for eventing services, because in my wedding service proposal, it's like the contract, the invoice, the payment. So it's almost like a separate little.
Yeah. So it should be similar. We have what are called workflows. So with
Yes.
each service type, you have a workflow. So with your event service workflow, you can have documents that are linked into that. Or when you create your e-vites, you make sure you link that document in there as well. So
Okay.
that way, they've read it, and somewhere that they should, you could even say like, does it have an option to like sign your name or click something somewhere?
I'm sure it does. I'm still, right now, I just have a very basic, I don't even like the workflow setup. I'm still learning it.
Okay.
So I just have kind of a basic setup for like the weddings, the brides and stuff, but
Yeah.
as more like one-off event services are coming, I want to have more structure with that.
Yeah.
Rather than just being like, yeah, see you on Saturday at 4. Here's your reminder email, pay
Yeah.
e-transfer. So
Yeah. I think if you just set it up very similar, it's just like our event workflow is basically like a mini version of our bridal.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just don't have I think our bridal is like 6 pages long contract. For the policy for the event is one policy. I think it is 3 or 4 pages, but it's listed like on our booking site, it's listed on our website, it's listed in our email communication, it's listed in, it's like everywhere.
Okay.
Somewhere that you just need for them to like agree that they've read it and they understand. So that if there's an issue, you could always refer back and say like, you did just confirming that you did review our policy and you did agree to that. So as per our policy, like this is how we're going to proceed, kind of thing, right?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
you're
feel like I
welcome.
just have to implement something. I just want to get a feel for that.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. Angie's just agreeing with you. Great. It's frustrating. Some people just aren't up on the technology, so we just have to give them a little extra hand holding. I have like some of my clients, and for those of you who said, oh, not sure if I want to do a deposit, I do require they might have to bring the cash in person if they want to confirm and they can't figure out how to get the money to me. Like we have lots of ways for them to get the money to us. So if they can't figure it out, I have had people literally come in person and drop off deposits, and then we would then manually enter the price as cash and then send them a confirmation via email anyways. It doesn't happen a lot, but it has happened. Rhonda, technology challenged. Well, it's okay. You're here. You're just going to dig in, start learning, start practicing. Christy said she implemented a new CRM. She's learning. We have to just keep showing up and keep learning. And the good thing is like, you can YouTube anything. So I still like YouTube stuff almost every day. She feels Square is basic. Yeah, I heard Square is kind of has some limitations, but depending on your business, you may or it might work for you. I have Square as my website, but I use Acuity as my booking software. So thanks so much for sharing that, guys. I know there's all these different little things that happen, these little nuances that happen in our business, but somehow it feels better knowing that we're not alone, right? So we all have at least one pain point in our business, and we can look at how to implement one process that can help prevent it from happening and or at least allow us to take action and resolving without having to be in the pits of deciding. So that's like, I find the hardest thing is that when something happens, if I'm in the emotion of it, especially when it comes to bridal stuff, or sometimes related to my team, because it does sometimes feel very personal, I don't want to be in the emotion of something when I have to make a decision, because sometimes I feel like I don't make the right decision. Because even though this is business and we have to make business-minded decisions, sometimes, like I said, it feels personal, or maybe just other parts of life are bringing, very stressful. And then when something happens, we're like, oh my God, why does this keep happening over and over? I don't know what to do here. So if we think about it in a clear mind and we focus on how we actually are going to proceed and what the policy is on this and what we do when this happens, when we have a clear, sound mind and we document it, that when it happens, all we have to do is refer back to that and be, okay, X happened, Y is how we resolve it. And as new things happen, we continue to update and improve these documents and policies and all these things as we keep going in our business. I'm just going to give you guys a couple like little things that we have in place. We have so many things in place. It's insane. I'm like constantly coming up with new things, but this was one of my pain points. So on our wedding days, we do require our brides to pay in full 2 weeks in advance. They do have a contract. We do not accept cash on the wedding day. I once had a bride short me $400, and it was very awkward because I was counting like $1,500 in the bathroom. And then I had to go when she's like ready to run out the door, be like, hey, like this is so awkward. I once had a bride put all the cash out, like it was so weird, all across the counter, all across like this in front of everybody. And I had a team at that point. And it was very weird. Like I felt super uncomfortable. So I started implementing payments 2 weeks in advance, contracts, and no cash as a result. However, sometimes moms, cousins, aunts, friends get FOMO when they see how awesome we are at doing our services and they decide, or somebody, last summer we had a mom who was supposed to go to Sephora, no offense to people that work at Sephora, but she was supposed to go to Sephora to get her makeup done. And when she got there, there was no appointment. So she rushed back to the venue where we were getting the clients ready, the bride and the bridal party ready, and asked if we could do her service. Luckily, we were able to accommodate her service. However, in the past, when we added on service and we tried to bill people after the fact, crickets. They want to argue with the price. They don't want to pay the price. They don't understand the value. They thought it was gifted to them. We've literally had people say we thought that service was gifted to them. Like $150 service. Are you okay? So Karen, I was there for that one, right? So all of these things literally happen all the time. So we implemented just a little tiny card that has all of the prices of our services, and it also has instructions on how to accept the payment, because we've had people say that they've paid, and I'm like, I see no e-transfer. I see no money in my bank from this service. So we have created a whole system on how we accept payment, how the artists are supposed to do that, because normally we don't put that pressure on the artist to be dealing with payment. They're busy dealing with the clients, making them happy. So this is just a simple thing. We laminate them and each artist has it in their kit, so they're equipped to now take on this situation that might occur. So that's one example of how we've dealt with a little fire in our business. We put out the fires. Here's another one. Reviews are so important. If you guys don't have Google My Business already, you need to 1000%. You have to have Google My Business. It's the hands down absolute best platform for attracting new clients. So one of my goals this year is to start getting more reviews from my team members, because if you go onto our Google review, we have like 200 5-star reviews. It's amazing. I'm so happy about that. It generates a lot of business as a result. However, it's Pam, Pamela, Pamela, Pam. And then people aren't as comfortable to have services done with my team members. So that was a pain point in my business for me. So what we implemented was a simple, basic, I just designed this myself on Canva, put a little QR code in here, and we implemented this last week. And since then, we've already had 3 new reviews for our artists. So I'm super excited about that. And it's a very simple thing to do. So think about different things that you can put in place. So this is a document, right? But this is a marketing document. So you can start growing your business. When it comes to the back end, Lauren can testify, because Lauren's on our team this year. We've implemented a lot of information. It's a little crazy. It's a lot of information. We use a platform called Teachable for internal training, as well as for our internal communication called Basecamp. And in those 2 platforms, everything that the artists need in order to create an excellent experience, feel informed, and to service our clients to priceless beauty standards are in there. So the handbook is just one example. It's kind of like it's a manual essentially. So it has everything that we could ever think of that they might need to know. We have all these different things put in place to support them, because how can you expect somebody who's not you to do what you do and to service the clients the way that the clients are used to being serviced? So if you're thinking, or if you have a team, or you're thinking to expand to having a team, it's important to have the right pieces in place. Even if you're just subcontracting, it's important to have these pieces in place, so that way, especially if you're not there while the clients are being serviced, to ensure that they're doing the job that your business reputation has built. Because it's very easy for someone to come in, even not with bad intentions. They might be fantastic artists with good intentions. Doesn't mean they understand how to handle and how to deal with your clients the way you would. And then external. So we kind of talked about this a little bit before. Now that could be anything from your bridal contract, could be waivers. This is our generic beauty policy, Christy, that we have, and it's literally just listed on our website. You can go look at it. So we're an open book, and just having any of these things put in place is super important. Perfect. Okay. So I didn't include this in here, but I wanted to just quickly talk about enforcing these policies, because I know this is something that we've had some questions about. So I would like to say that first, when you create the policies, you're obviously creating them from a perspective of the clients, keeping their interests in mind, but also from your business, right? And when something happens, you have to use your discretion. For example, if you have a schedule for a wedding and somebody's supposed to be in your chair at 9 o'clock, and for whatever reason, they don't get into your chair till 9:05, are you going to implement a late fee policy? Probably not. But if they show up an hour late, an hour and a half late, and now it compromises the whole entire experience, it might be time for you to implement the policy. So I recommend having all of the policies in place and having people sign off on them, even for something as simple as somebody no showing. And this happened to me. So for our memberships or our packages, for example, for the spray tanning, it's prepaid in advance. So technically, they're not paying a deposit when they come to their appointment. However, and they're also getting a discount on their tan, because the membership tans and the package tans are discounted. So what was happening was people were no showing or coming super late to the point where I couldn't service them anymore, which is only a 15-minute time window for spray tanning. and then they had a package or a membership. So this means they are loyal clients, they're repeat clients, but some people were consistently doing this. So our written policy is, if you're past 15 minutes, you've lost your appointment. If you cancel, you've lost your deposit. But if they've prepaid, it creates this gray area. So we had to actually include that in there. If they didn't show or they were past that time frame, then they would be charged the amount of the full deposit amount. So what the regular price would be, or if they had a package, they would actually lose that appointment off their package. So it's like, okay, as soon as something new happens, you have to figure out how can we now implement something new for this. And we kind of have like for our spray tans, because they're not as big as a commitment as like a wedding, for example, we kind of have like this like secret, like we won't necessarily say that we're going to implement it, but we kind of have like forgiveness. So we kind of have to use our judgment, right? So if they literally got into a car accident on the way here, are you going to charge them their deposit or are you going to allow them to transfer that deposit? So you just have to use your judgment based on your experience with that client. Do you think they're being honest, or every single time they come, they're always late and they always have an excuse? So you have to just look to see, use your judgment. Also, I find for bigger decisions, it's helpful to have a sounding board. So luckily I have a beauty coordinator, Crystal, and I do use her as a sounding board for certain situations like this happened. What do you think the best course of action is for us to move forward in this situation? So having a second opinion with somebody who you trust and understands your business would be very helpful as well. Okay, so now we're going to take action. So I want you guys to take an inventory. So this is another piece of action. So if you guys have your pens and papers, and we're going to actually be writing some things down. So just get prepared for that. So take an inventory on what you currently have in place and what are some of the areas you might need to start updating or implementing. So we're going to walk through your customer journey. And what I mean by the customer journey is those points along from when they contact you to when they confirm the service, to when they have the service, to after the service is complete. So that inquiry process, what happens during this period? So we heard some people call in, some people email us, some people maybe be looking on our Google or on our Instagram, they're researching. What information do you have available prior to maybe you even talking to them? So what kind of marketing, what documentation, what information do you have in place pre even having a conversation, okay? And then we're going to look at that selling part. So what do you have in place for this portion? So we've talked about this. So those frequently asked questions, in order for those buyers to make a decision, they want to know, okay, well, what's going to happen? How long is this going to take? How much does this cost? What do I need to do? Can I come with my nails done? Do I have to wash my hair? Whatever. Can I wear makeup? Whatever that looks like for you, selling is part of having this information ready helps you to be able to turn those inquiries into confirmed bookings. Okay, so having some kind of information in place to sell yourself. Okay, and that could be frequently asked questions. That could be videos that show them what to expect. We have a spray tanning video that shows people what to expect, and a lot of people are still scared of spray tans. And then how do they book and confirm services? So do you use a booking site? Do you have a CRM? Are they dropping off cash in person? I don't recommend that. What does that look like for you? Maybe you are going to be adding a new booking system. Maybe you're going to be creating templates for your quotations. Maybe you're going to be requiring deposits. Like, what does that look like for you? And then finally, during the follow-up, so do you follow up with your clients, and what does this look like? Are you asking for reviews? Are you asking how their service went? Are you getting pictures? Could you have some documents or templates or something in place for this? We have a secret page on our website that gives people a little incentive to give us reviews as well. So we have a page that's designed for that. So what does that look like? Maybe you have documents, templated emails, text messages, something like that that's in place for that follow-up. So during this journey, we definitely want to have things in place to optimize and make this process super seamless, also efficient, and the best use of your time. So once you have determined what these items are, then you're going to start creating it, okay? So I have way too many things in my space here. I can't see what I have to see. Give me a second to move that out of the way. So you're going to start with a brainstorming session. So you're not going to do this all right now. Just giving you guys some tips for doing it. Turn off your devices, no distractions, and write it all out. And then I recommend using like ChatGPT to make it sound professional and or to organize your thoughts. then you're simply going to start moving it into whichever platform is going to work best for you and for your clients. So whether it's like a blog for, frequently asked questions on your website or on YouTube, maybe it's your pre and post care instructions for your lashes or your spray tanning. Maybe you're going to be updating your pricing menu with more details as to what's included or adding some kind of waiver in there. Maybe it's new marketing materials to help you get more reviews or a referral program. Perhaps it's like an internal team policy because you're hiring or you're subcontracting and they don't always fully understand how you would best represent your brand. So the challenge is for you guys, I'm giving you 1 week, and I know it's more than enough time. You're just going to have to commit some time to create one thing. Okay. So complete it within 1 week. So block a couple of hours to start with your brainstorming, block a couple of hours and determine how you're going to start implementing it. So don't feel like you have to do all the things, just whatever is most urgent or you feel is going to have the most impact on your business right now. And then I would invite you to join my Facebook group, which is the Business of Beauty. And I will be sending you guys a follow-up email. So don't worry about going and trying to find it right now if you're not in there. And I encourage you, and I'm holding you accountable, to share what your pain point was and what you did, what you put in place in order to make it better. Okay. Perfect. Anybody just at the top of their mind have an idea of what they're going to do? I'd love for you guys to share because I'm going to be writing it down and checking in on you. I'm going to wait in the chat to see if you guys have any ideas as to what you're going to work on. And I want to see your faces. Where did your faces go? I need to more clear, organized internal team policies. Yes. And that one is very time consuming. I'm not going to lie. I started by just using a Google Docs, like just notes and just like writing all the different things out, just writing everything out. And then eventually I started organizing it and categorizing it. And then I put it into a pretty document. And then I created a Loom, which is just a video recording. I think you know, Greek, because Kelly used to do this. That's where I learned about it. I just created a Loom. So I just video recorded me talking and explaining over the policy. And then I shared those policies internally with my team because I have a large team. So it was very time consuming for me to, and also I know they're busy. So it's hard to get everybody together. So I pre-recorded it all and then I shared it with them. And that way I was using my time efficiently. And in the unlikely event, but you know what happens, if you get turnover, it's much easier to then reshare and retrain the next group of gals that you're bringing onto your team, or as your team grows, you could simply just share that link with them so that they understand what all those internal policies are. Melissa, reviews. We only have 35 right now on Google and we want more. Going to create marketing material to entice clients to leave a review and bribe them. I have a free Google My Business training that I'll share with you guys in the email. I know some of you guys have already taken it, but I will share that in the after email for you too. And that gives you some ideas on how to get more reviews and how to optimize your Google My Business page as well. So I'll share that with you, Melissa. Amazing. Perfect. Okay, amazing. So I told you guys I was going to make an offer at the end. So I'm going to do that. So I saw on the intake form again, because the intake form was all for a reason. So the same reason I do an intake form for you guys is the same reason that you should do an intake form for your clients, to get to understand what their needs are. So one of the things that I asked was, how serious are you guys? Is it replay? I missed the beginning. Yep, I'm recording it. I will throw it on the Facebook group since I didn't get to put it live in there. I'll definitely put it in there for you, Karen. Yeah, so I would say almost all of you said this is your year to grow your business. So for those of you who are feeling excited about getting more organized and professional in your business, and I know today was like just one tiny piece of the puzzle, I would like to share with you guys a little bit more about my full Business of Beauty program. So if you want to stay on and watch, I'm going to show you a little back end of exactly what we have in the business. So if you're interested to learn more about it, stay tuned. If you have to jump off, that's totally fine. But I encourage you, if you're interested, you want to learn more about it, stay on. I'm going to show you a little sneak peek at what's in there. And that is going to be running this spring. But before that, I'm just going to share with you guys a couple different pieces of feedback that I got from our first students. So our first program ran in November. My goal was to have 10 students and we had 12, which was crazy. So I really do max out at around that mark because of how involved I am in the program and how hands-on I am with each and every single student, that I really can't handle more than that amount of students. So it is a really small group of students that come on who are looking to really grind into all these different aspects of their business. So these are a few things. Karen's in here. Oh yeah, Karen, thank you for joining us. Karen was in our program. Amazing, thank you, Karen. So here are a couple tips, or a couple testimonials, I should say, from some of the girls that were in the program, learning lots of new and informative tips. I'm prioritizing myself and my business, slowing down to get things done in order to eventually delegate and step away from later, continuing to implement things one by one so I'm not overwhelmed, will continue to show improvements. Having structure, setting realistic goals, and leaving fear at the door. So implementing brand ambassador program, delegating better clarification on my brand. This program saved me time and by helping with all of the templates. So there's so many templates in there. Someone can easily say, okay, create an email, but having one to look at as a reference and the necessary info saved me a bunch of stress. Yes, loved a small group setting. Pamela, you were very great and responding back to answering any questions. So in the program, it is an online program, but we do have Zoom trainings, and we also have group chats and private chats. So as you're going through the material, myself and my VA Karen are there to answer any questions that you might have or give you feedback on the specific things that you are working on in order for you to make progress. So it's very hands-on. Well written, easy access information is easily presented, very clear, so you can hear.
And we work out of a studio in
Can you hear
Whitby.
now?
Pam, I actually already feel more motivated on the Google page. Like, I've hit all the marks that I've set for myself so far last month and this month. So that alone is a win for me. I felt like I was in a boat, a little dinghy in the middle of the ocean, and like with one half broken oar. And now I feel like I'm on a river going upstream. I have a focus, and it kind of all came together because now I feel like I have the tools. The beauty Bible is like my favorite thing ever. Sometimes it feels like the Wild West because you don't know what you don't know. And having a group of women week after week to be a sounding board is a fantastic thing. I think going into 2024, I'm being a lot more gentle with myself. I am taking risks that I never would have taken before. And I think that this program has given me the confidence to do that. So it really helped me to create action. And that was important to me. That's what I wanted. I wanted to start moving in a direction of where I was actually doing things that are a little bit out of my comfort zone.
I'm Stacey. I'm a mobile spray tan artist in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I offer mainly vegan tans, and I've been an esthetician for about 12 years now. So I just wanted to take all the knowledge in that I could. I decided to sign up because I know there's a lot of areas I'm struggling in my business that I would love to get information, from people that have been in the industry longer. I'm more of a hands-on person, so I have the spray tanning and the technique part down. So learning the actual business side of it is where I need to grow and perfect. I could say I loved all of it. But the biggest part was the documents, the policies. Another great thing that I loved was how to upgrade your services and kind of just target to get clients to do more within the services that I offer. I love that, like how to organize in your business, how to do certain stuff, like to keep organized, like stay on track of learning new things. I'm very unorganized, so I love like the different techniques and apps that are used within the business to make everything greater, on the outside, I guess, that no one else sees. I guess for so long, it was so hard to speak to my ideal client, but even just getting some advice and tips, the questions you sent me in one of the emails, it kind of just like made me look at it from a different way. And it was a very beneficial program. I had no doubts about it. I highly recommend it.
So my name is Elena, and I have my own business called Elle's Chair. Been a hairstylist for about 10 years. When I saw this course, I thought that it was kind of perfect and it felt like it was my bridge between the two, where I really like doing media things and like building business, but I also really like being behind the chair. So I started bringing what I've learned in this course into the salon. And so I'm not only using it for myself, but I'm helping my team members in the salon thing. And I really liked that, there was a strong community of people. You were always, encouraging us, reaching out to us, and it kept me on track. So I'd say my hesitations were kind of like more limiting beliefs of like, I can't do this, or I won't be able to follow through with this. But it was quickly demolished because of just how supportive the community was, how well you reached out and worked with us, really just motivated me to keep making sure that I was staying on task with everything. So I've been implementing almost everything I've learned into the salon. I learned something new in every single chapter, implementing like contracts and documents and things like that. Those things that are important to have in the salon, having the knowledge of tools that you could use to make everything a super smooth, simple process is very helpful. So I think it also just opened my eyes to see like, how could we make things more efficient in the salon? What can I do to help my coworkers like grow their business? How can we grow the salon? How can I grow my clientele? So it just, everything meshed beautifully. And just my biggest aha moment was just finding efficiency. The way that you presented all these tools to us just really made everything so efficient, so smooth. And there's really very little room for error. Personally, become more organized. I've set the salon up with tools to be organized, helped me grow as a person. And I'm implemented things that I'm going to work on this month and next month and the month after. Like I have more of a plan now of what I want to do, where I want to be, and how I can get there. I think at any point in your business, you could do this course because like I said, I've been in the industry for 10 years. I went to school for web design and digital marketing, and I still learned so much in this course. And you connect with other people that are, across the world. Like there's a learning aspect from any point where you are in your business. There's a learning aspect. Great for even like a beginner or an experienced business owner. Yes, I would highly recommend.
I am Alexis. I co-own Boost by DNA. Spray tanning.
There we go. Thanks, guys. So that's just a little info about the girls. When I created the program, I just like had no idea what kind of feedback I was going to get, but I just put my heart and soul into the creation of it. And there's literally everything. It's insane. So if you're still on, I'm going to show you guys a little sneak peek of what it actually looks like.
I am Alexis.
How do I escape that? There we go. I'm going to show you what it looks like on the back end. Okay, exactly is in here. I'm just going to do a little behind the scenes. So on week 1, and the first cohort was actually a 4-week program. And the feedback that I got from the girls was that they needed more time. There's so much information in here that they wanted more time with me and more time to go through the material. So we've actually expanded it into a 6-week program, and it's broken down. Each week there is a video recording of the material. There's also documents, there's resources, as well as like a practical assignment that you can do. So depending on where you're at in your business, you may do that assignment that week, or that might be something that's you're not going to quite do yet because your business isn't there yet. So depending on where you are in your business and your goals, you will work on specific parts of your business. And also this is a lifetime access. So as I continue to update the material, you'll always be able to go back and access any of the material. So we get into branding your business. We get into how to do photo shoots in your business, how to schedule photo shoots, what you need to know about branding photo shoots, branding your personal business, resources, templates, creating vision boards, schedules, like everything you would need to know to have a branding photo shoot, because I think every business, especially beauty business, needs to be representing themselves properly online. So there's a bunch of information about that, and exercises all about creating your brand, speaking to your ideal client, and all of that good stuff. In week 2, it's business foundations. We get into pricing strategies for your service. So I find it really interesting when I get feedback from like clients or leads, people not understanding, why our price is the way the price is. And when you confidently understand and you have a strategy for how you price your services, it feels so much different and you show up so much different. So there's actually strategies involved in determining what your price should be. So we go into that. And of course, in week 2, we get into the policies, documents, and contracts. And one thing that's a little bit different too about this program is that literally every single template that I have in my business, I've created, well, not me, Crystal helps me create this, generic templates for you guys that you can literally click and download and use yourself. So every single template, every piece of email communication, every single marketing material, literally my entire business is in here for you guys in a generic format that you can edit and use for your own business. So all the spray tanning templates, all the waivers, there's just examples and templates of every single thing that we have in place that you guys can use as a reference, recreate on your own, whatever you want. Week 3, we get into growing the business. So we talk about something that is not talked about enough, which is customer retention. It's actually more important than generating inquiries if you are an established business. Now, if you're a newer business, then generating more inquiries is important. And finally, increasing revenue. So 7 different ways, actually, I think it was 8 different ways to increase revenue in your existing business. Week 4, we get into working smarter and not harder. This is one of my favorite parts of business, learning how to hire and outsource. And that also gets into different things that you have in place, determining if you are ready to hire, different pieces of tools and technology that we can use in order to start outsourcing other people within our business, okay? Then we get into CRM. So CRM is something that Christy was talking about earlier, Dubsado. So how to use a customer relationship management software, the benefits of it, and maybe if you are a good fit, a little bit more about the one specifically that we use, which is 17 Hats. And week 5, we get into marketing. So we go over all the different marketing pillars, specifically those for beauty businesses. We have more training on Google My Business, as well as social media. I know a lot of people pinpoint social media. So we have a social media audit that we offer, which we actually help to look at your social media and a whole checklist on ideas on how to improve your social media. We show you how we actually organize and plan. We have a template for planning your social media. behind the scenes of how we do that and a bunch of different resources for you, as well as some video editing tips from my friend Eden, photographer and video guru. And then week 6, we go through optimizing your business processes. Just looking at different processes, different softwares, tools, technology. This is all about organization, really. Templates, a bunch of different communication templates. So these are text templates that we use for communicating with our brides. We try to move everything to email. We do provide the email templates, but sometimes we're texting as well. So we have all of our text templates. Also, we walk through the customer journey. And I can't show you the last one because those last ones are bonuses that you're not supposed to know. So that's like the behind the scenes look at, here we go. Okay, stop sharing my screen. Perfect. So that's a behind the scenes look at all of that stuff. So I wanted to just open up the floor for anything that you guys had questions about in regards to anything we talked about today, or anything in regards to the business of beauty. I'm just going to open up our questions here. Perfect. You guys can unmute yourself if you have any questions as well. Thanks for staying on till the end, guys. No questions? Oh, I see something popping up in the chat. Okay, so yes, great. How do you follow up check that they left a Google review for a discount and then show them it when they come for the appointment? Okay, so through our booking system, you can provide a discount code, right? So we have a discount code called a review. So as soon as we do a review, we have our Google set up. So Google sends us a notification. So when Google sends us a notification, I have a day where I like work on these specific things. So I try not to get to it right when it comes in. So I will just snooze that email to come back to me when I have time to do it. So usually, 24 hours or whatever. And then I will respond to that Google review. Then only as long as I know who that person is, because sometimes their name is not proper, like on their Google. So if I don't know, like I can't tell, but most of the time I can tell who it was, and hopefully they specified what the service was and who provided the service as well. So then I just simply send them however we've been communicating with them. So whether it's text or Instagram or email, try to do email most of the time. We will just respond and send them an email like thanking them for the review and letting them know. And you could template this as well. You could template this like on Google templates or save it anywhere and template it. Thanking them for the review and letting them know that when they book next time and send them a link to book their next appointment, use the code review. And that way they can use the code review at their next appointment. And then you can have your settings like to say they can only use the code once or whatever. Now, if they review us via our bridal beauty services, then I simply forward that email to Crystal, my beauty coordinator. She just makes a note on their file. So if they come back for a future service, we can just see the note on their file that says they have a discount on a future service. And then you could also include in the email, like if yours is spray tanning, so you should be able to just automate it like that. But for anybody else that does other beauty services and you can't automate it, you can also let them know to remind you, like don't forget to ask for the discount. So just like as a backup plan kind of thing as well, right? So yeah, you should be able to automate it for the most part. Marlene, so I'm going to be I'm waiting on confirmation for a TV series that I'm supposed to be on, which is going to take up a lot of my time. So I don't want to overbook myself. I need to be like 100% present for you guys, anybody who joins the business of beauty. So I'm waiting on confirmation for that series, but I'm thinking it's going to be the first week of May that the program is going to start. So it will run 6 weeks. So May 6th is my goal date into, I think will be mid-April or June, sorry, from May to June. So yeah. I'll send you guys more information about that if you want. I'm going to send you guys a follow-up email anyways, but thanks so much for joining, and I appreciate you spending time with me, and thank you for sharing your energy and your feedback with everybody. And don't forget to do your homework and put it into the Facebook group, okay? I'm going to check on you guys. Awesome. And we finished on time. Look at that. Awesome. Have a great day, guys. And for those of you who suddenly signed up for both, it's going to be the exact same thing at 5:30. I just wanted to provide 2 time frames to make it, convenient for people. So you don't have to come to the second one because it's going to be basically all of the same information, just FYI. Okay. Awesome. Have a great day, guys. Take care.